And welcome back to episode 19. Now, as I remember, we had our survey fleet moving back to Earth. It's still 145 days out. We had just done research into EM sensors, and our economy. What? Ooh, we're barely making a profit. Barely. So that should slowly tick upwards, but it's not much. Our one ship is just about enough to keep the people on Luna happy. And in case that doesn't work, we have 3 companies of infantry just sitting around looking menacing. Right. I think I'm going to make that a perpetual job by just adding another one in front of it. Just keep churning out those financial centers. We need to build up a bit of power, and then we need to build some more ships so that we can let the colonies get bigger. Speak of which, civilian economy, infrastructure, we're up to 100. Automated mines, we have 1. Mass drivers are still at 1. Low grav 592. And the low grav is continuing to build up mostly because we're not sending it anywhere. Nowhere that we want to colonize is low grav. Okay. There's no point in sending a mine to Venus because all of its population is struggling to keep the population alive. Not a lot we can do there. Mercury, on the other hand, had a little bit of a population surplus, and they're now all working as miners. "50,000 people working in the mines of Mercury." One might almost imagine that as a horrible penal colony. Mars has available workers. Has nothing it can do. When it gets its mass driver, I will divert Mercury's throughput through Mars, and probably the same with Venus's, and then everything from the outer solar system will go through Mars before going on to Luna. And that'll mean we'll be able to start building things here. Yeah. That rig is being built pretty fast. Yeah, that'll be completed relatively quickly. Yeah, okay. Let's roll the clock onwards, see what happens. And almost instantly, the Newton has a failure in its engine, although that can be repaired. Still has plenty of maintenance supplies. And we get our genetic research. So, again, a lot of places low gravity, low temperature, so getting them done early is good. Although terraforming rate, we haven't started terraforming, but we'd like it to be as quick as possible once we do. So get that researched, and then we'll do low grav, low temperature, low oxygen, and then the higher versions. Okay. And maximum tracking time versus missiles has been researched. So, aircraft carrier, improved geological sensors, that would be nice. Combat information sensor, electronic hardening, countermeasures, countermeasures. Okay, let's start with the improved geological sensors. They'll be good for the next level of our research ship. They'll produce more surveying points quicker. And on we go. And quite a bit of time went by before our next research came in. Power plant boost, which a boost of power, but also a risk of explosion. That basically means, actually, it's time to start jump point theory. So, this is what's going to allow us to start examining the gravitational anomalies around the solar system to find jump points. Now, we already know, this was found early on, here in the Jupiter belt, at one of the Lagrange points, is a jump point, and I don't know where that jump point goes to. Is there a... We don't know. So, for those of you who don't know, a Lagrange point is a semi-stable gravitational piece of space caused by the balance of the forces of the various things. So, the Sun and Jupiter are the two biggest things in the solar system, and somewhere here between them, near Jupiter, will be a balance point where the gravity of Jupiter and the gravity of the Sun perfectly balance out. There'll be a counterbalance point, so that was L1. There'll be a counterbalance point behind, that's L2. L3 will be on the opposite side of Jupiter's orbit, again counterbalancing Jupiter. And then L4 and L5 are these clusters of asteroids that are hovering around, where there is this sort of stable region of space, sort of equilateral triangle shaped, ahead of and behind the planet in its orbit. Now, every planet has these, and indeed our moon has a set of these points around Earth. But because Jupiter is so much more massive, its points are quite obvious and effective. Hence you see these, what are known as Trojan asteroid, one lot following and one lot leading Jupiter. For instance, the James Webb telescope, I believe it was going to Earth's L2 point, so it'll be away from Earth, and it'll be able to stare off into the distance of space. Maybe it was going to a different one, but I think it was the L2 point. Okay. Yes, that's all there. Okay. I wish I knew where this jump point went to. The one out here. We will have to explore that. It might be a shortcut out to Minerva, and that would be very handy. That would be very handy indeed. When we have some gravitational sensors, we may have a look at it. Okay, enough waffling. Let us continue the march of time. And now we have our tracking speed gear up. So energy weapons. Guess it's going to be ultraviolet lasers. It does mean we have to get our turret tracking sensors increased in their tracking rate for the next generation of turrets. And the survey fleet is returning to base and starting its overhaul. I zoom out. There are still these two out here to send it to, two things there. There's also that, but I don't think that's in range. No, not yet. But we can get it serving a few more things before we redesign it. Okay, beam fire control range has come in, and we also have shore leave has been completed for the Newton, though it is still overhauling. If we go to sensors, yeah, we need that. We might as well start it now. It's going to take a while. These are so much more expensive than the turret tracking gear to do it, so they tend to lag a bit behind. But we also want to get all this other stuff worked on too. Luckily we have many sensor specialists, so we can chew through them. Okay, continuing. So I'm going to change the back color on that because I'm missing that. Production. Star Sector Command has been completed at Earth. That's very nice. So if we go here and we want to look at civilian administrators by rating, and then mining, logistics, and political reliability, our top person is Percy Hammond, who has served us for 20 years and is currently in charge of Luna. I think that person should now become our sector commander. Then, Earth is there. We have 3 level 6s. I'm going to put you in charge of the moon. Then we have Mars, and then you get Mercury. And then for level 5, Venus. No level 4s. So I'm actually going to leave Pluto out for a while. It's not like we really need him. These planets here, or these asteroids here and comets, are going to get done first. Although, Pluto. Yeah. These inner ones are more likely to need someone sooner rather than later. Ideally, we'd want an administrator for everything. We don't have one. Comasalta. Why do you need more than Comasalta? I don't know. But you're going to get it. So, and of course, these are the ones that actually have something on them. So, Temple 1, you're going to go. So, all of these have something. A handful of other things have something. Yeah. That'll do for the moment. But that does mean we have 3 points of unused unused capacity. I think what we need to do is start building terraforming installations so we can move them to Mars. We can turn Mars into a place that isn't limited by the size of the habitat. It's going to be a long-term project. We're starting slow, but we'll need to. Financial centers are ticking away fast. We're now getting what? 5 or 6 of them every year, which means we're making more and more of them, which means we're barely keeping pace with our expenditure. Like, it is too tight to mention. But our political production modifier is stabilizing, that lags a bit behind. It's quick to drop, but it's slow to improve. Production is it is only just barely holding. We need more ships. Building another ship will sink money, but I think it's time to do it. Okay. So, with our combat ships, the first one in the class was named the Defiant, and that's a good name for it. But I think after that, what I want is weapons. Weapons. So there's a whole load of things here. And for the Corvette, I'm going to stick with small weapons. So, the dagger. Select name. Create task. So the next Defiant class ship will be called the Dagger. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, on we go. And we're back with Gamma Shields completed. Which means composite armor is on the table. And just like that, we now have a new naval shipyard completed at Earth. So we have 5 points of unused construction. You know, I'm just going to build another naval shipyard complex. With that, we will need them over time. They are very slow to build, certainly at this rate, but we now have a second facility. For now, we're just going to upgrade that to 10,000 tons. It's going to take a while. You know what, if we're going to spend the money, I'm going to add a slipway to that. So we'll be able to handle 2 ships at the same time. I'll rename this one Schooner Yard, or Docks. And we're going to rename this one Frigate Yard. Now, a frigate, ship classifications are complicated. What one navy might call a frigate, another navy might call a corvette or a destroyer. I generally see frigates as long duration patrol and escort vessels. So they're like a corvette, but more capable, able to stay out longer, able to kind of hold their own against other ships of about the same size, and able to terrorize smaller vessels. Like if a frigate pulled up on a upgunned civilian ship, the civilian ship is in trouble. But Frigates are mainly patrol, scouting, and screening. They stay near larger ships and larger fleets to protect them from other things. So in the real world, you have submarine hunting frigates, or anti-aircraft frigates, or the like, whose job is to specialize in protecting other vessels. So I'm setting the size tonnage for our frigates at 10,000 tons, and I will be arming that probably with the 10 centimeter lasers, probably in dual or maybe triple or quad turrets, depending on the sizes and the costs. Um, I'll want at least one, maybe two turrets on it and a couple of seaways. And its job will be to shoot down things such as fighters or missiles at long range using the lasers, or to engage other ships using the lasers. Um, it won't punch very hard, but it will be able to reach out. And whereas the corvettes have a sort of a 30,000 kilometer range, frigates will be probably 100,000, 200,000 kilometer range, depending on the laser tech we have at the time. They'll be much further out that they can do their damage. But they will still be able to target small ships and fighters and things like that. Whereas when we start to get up to bigger ships, their weapons will tend to be specialized towards hitting other big ships. And you will lose a bit of the protection. Anyway, frigates are going to take a while. That's going to take a long time to come in. And of course, while this is all going on, our money will tank heavily. At the moment, we're slightly losing, but once what I've just queued up goes into production, we're going to run a lot of expenses. So hold on to your hats and hope we don't go broke. Okay. Run true. In fact, open up that tab. Look at our wealth in trade. And you can see the numbers. Literally, that's gone up 40 points, and this has gone up 5 points. So, yeah, we're hurting. That's up to 51. Basically, as the production gears up, yeah, that's up to 2% of our thing is on shipyard modifications. This is going to hurt, but in the long run, it will help us. I hope. Okay. Yeah, we're now making about 100 less than we're spending. That hurts a lot. Income is, well, it's doing its best. Okay, and the survey fleet has finished their overhaul. So, if we look up here, McNugget, Russell, and Brooks. Okay. Survey fleet, move orders. Well, first of all, ship list, 100%, that's fine. Comets. McNugget, Russell. Move to. Do a geological survey. Where's Brooks gone? Brooks, that was the other one. move to location, do the geological survey, and then head home and let us think about an upgrade. Hopefully by the time it's finished that, we will be researching gravitational sensors and we can refit it to see all these survey locations scattered around in this pattern. They're out between Neptune and Saturn. Some of them are out even further out in the Kuiper belt. Some of them will be jump capable. We just don't know where to yet. Okay, and with that, I will save there and call that an episode. See you next time.